2 platforms, 10 courses, 3 days. What am I talking about? Well, this is what my weekend looked like because, as you may or may not know, I run a membership, an online membership that is full of courses and content for people to learn how to use tools like email marketing and Trello and Pinterest and Meta business ads and all of that sort of thing for their business. And it's all hosted through my own WordPress site using plugins, right? This is how I've run everything for a while now. But a little over a week ago, I discovered that for some reason, the new course that I released for July was not accessible to my members. I checked all of the settings more than once. I tested it a bunch and it worked totally fine for me, but it wasn't working for my members. The first thing I did after all of my own testing was reach out to support from the plugin. Now, if you've been around the channel for a while, then you know that I leverage the free tools for as long as possible, and I encourage you to do the same because it keeps your overhead down and helps you be profitable faster. Now, when it comes to the membership platform, though, this is literally the backbone of my business. So I knew I was going to need to upgrade to something more premium, more robust, but still affordable. I had looked at a bunch of different options and I chose this one in particular for a couple of reasons. But one of the main reasons was that the membership aspect of it, the access control aspect, they were selling a lifetime deal. Now, we've talked about this before with other platforms, FlowTrack and things like that. When you have an opportunity to purchase a lifetime license for something, especially if you've test driven it and you know that it does what you need it to do, absolutely purchase that lifetime license in that situation, because after a few years, you've basically paid that off and now you have a free platform that's really, really solid. So I did that and I was loving it for a while. Then they added their course builder add-on. I purchased that, was not able to do that in a lifetime option, so that I was paying for annually. But again, it still worked out, right? It was still affordable and I knew that the platform was solid for me. I was also a really big fan of their support team. Still am, if I'm honest, because they are super on it. They actually can log in. You can give them temporary access to the back end of your site so they can go in and really troubleshoot and fix things, and they're great about that. The problem in this case, though, was that they were unable to replicate the issue in order to troubleshoot and figure out what was going on. Now, if you are not tech savvy, and if you're watching one of my videos, that's likely, right? Then all of that I might have just said right now might have been another language to you. And that's okay. You don't really need to understand all of that. But suffice to say that I reached a point with this platform where I needed to make a tough decision. And I have posted videos before, and I'll share that above, to help you determine what platforms are best for you, right? Some tips to help you decide what your priorities are and all of that. And I will link that above for you if you missed it. But today I wanted to talk about how do you know when it's time to switch platforms? Now, I struggled with this a lot with this platform because I had purchased that lifetime license, like I said, and even though there was still an annual subscription aspect to it, it was really hard for me to let go of a platform that was essentially paying for itself. Not to mention the fact that migrating from one platform to another, whether it's a membership, course building platform, or email marketing, or even project management, it's not a quick, easy thing to do. It's time consuming and it's monotonous. And especially if you're in a situation like I was, where it's literally impacting your customers' ability to interact with your content, it's stressful. So how do you know when a problem that you find in a platform is big enough that you need to switch to a new platform? Now, there's no one answer to this, but let me just give you some of my thoughts on the matter. So we've talked before about how there is no perfect platform. Every platform you're going to run into things that you don't love, that don't work, and that maybe for you cause a little bit of extra effort or work on your part. Especially this is going to happen if you're using more affordable tools like I recommend as you're starting out. because those affordable tools tend to take a little bit more elbow grease. Usually when you're paying more for a tool, you're paying for convenience. You're paying for some aspect of it being easier or more turnkey for you. So it is very likely that on certain platforms, you're going to run into issues. You may need support's help. They may not be able to fix the problem for you. So how do you know if this is a problem that needs to make you switch platforms or if you can live with it? And here's my hard and fast rule, okay? If this issue is causing a problem for your customer's experience, okay? If it is negatively impacting your customer's experience, then it's time to switch platforms. There may be times when you're willing to put up with a little bit of pain and suffering on the back end, as long as it's not impacting your customer. When something doesn't work the way it's supposed to, which honestly I had done with my previous membership platform, there had been issues in the past where support had not been able to fix it, and I lived with it because it was only impacting me and my experience with the platform, not my customers. But once it reached the point where it was impacting my customer, I mean, they literally could not access the content they were paying to access. That is a deal breaker. That is core functionality of the platform. And if they couldn't fix it, then I was going to have to leave the platform. So in this case, it's pretty obvious, but it's not always this black and white. So what do you do when it's a gray area situation? What if it's an email marketing platform where your customer, for whatever reason, ends up getting signed up twice and they start getting duplicates of your emails? That's annoying for your customer, but there may be a manual way in the back end that you can go in and remedy that. You might be able to merge the contacts so that they become just one again. And this type of thing can happen when they sign up for your freebie and for your newsletter under one email, but then they go and make a purchase and the email address that's tied to their payment option is different. And now they get signed up to your email again, now with two different email addresses. So this is how they end up, getting your emails twice. So this has happened to me, obviously. I'm very specific about that example. So clearly I've dealt with it. And it may be a situation where you can merge contacts. Many of your platforms will allow that. But Omnisend, the one that I am currently using, does not have that functionality. Although I have told them I want it. So we'll see if they go in and add it. But it's not possible for me to do that. So when this happens, I have to manually go in the back end, find the email that came through with their payment and unsubscribe it so that they're only getting my emails once in the place that they indicated they wanted it, right? Because they signed up for it there. So this is something that is only a pain for me. It's not a huge deal for my customer. And so it's not a deal breaker for me. It's not something that's going to cause me to switch platforms. So that to me, it's a gray area, but that's how I choose to handle it. But if you have a huge list and a lot of people purchasing from you, and this is happening a lot, and you find yourself having to go in and make these kinds of manual changes all the time, then maybe it is time for you to look for a platform that isn't going to do that, or that does allow you to merge contacts, or that it searches for the contact in a different way, right? So it may be time for you to look for that. But ultimately, what it comes down to is, what can you live with and what can you not live with? Like I've said, no platform is perfect. They're all going to have their bugs and their quirks and all of that. But you need to determine your priorities. This is very much like when you're choosing a platform. What is your top priority? What is your next priority, right? And choose your platform based off of that. Same thing goes when you're in a platform and you need to decide, are the issues that you're running across becoming something that you can no longer deal with, that you can no longer live with? In that case, it may be time to switch platforms. So now that I've just gone through this, migrating my entire membership from one platform to the next in 3 days, I'm wondering, would you guys find it helpful if I did a video on how to migrate from one platform to another? Because there are sometimes, say, email marketing, where you might be able to export your entire list, import it into a new system, and then it's just a matter of recreating your emails and your automations and things like that, which I say like, oh, that's no big deal. But if you have robust email marketing and email automation, that can be a big deal. So I'm curious, would it be helpful for you guys if I did a video showing you my process for how I plan for and execute migration from one platform to the next, especially when it comes to moving course content, because that's a big one. But it would apply to email marketing as well. So let me know in the comments if you would find that interesting. And if you have ever had to make the tough decision of switching from a platform that you know and used to love to finding something new, like this video and let me know that I'm not alone. The online tools for your business do not need to be complicated and overwhelming. It's time to let it be easy.